everybody. This is Blade Cross EXE.
And Ryoji42, how's it going?
And we just finished Devil May Cry Season 2.
That was a trip.
A little bit, yeah. Long and short, for my personal opinion, I feel like they did some things better than the first season, but I feel like they also were lacking a little bit compared to first season. Like, one problem that I kind of had in particular is that there seemed to be even less Dante this go-around than there was last time.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of the Virgil show at points.
Right? Like last season, there was, like, a balance of Dante and Lady. This time, Dante was just kind of off on the side, and Lady was front and center for a lot of it, but she wasn't the only one. Now it was mostly Lady and Virgil, which I don't mind seeing Virgil, because, like, again, I'm a scrub. I've only beaten the first game and the Dante route of the second game. So getting to know about these characters that I haven't really experienced in-game and seeing, like, the show's take on things, like, I'm okay with seeing them, explore a bit.
This season was definitely an interesting kind of blend of 1 and 2.
Yeah. There's a little bit of 3 thrown on there, too, wasn't there? Just because 3 is the prequel, so it's, like, it's got some past events. Yeah. Because they're not going out of order with the timeline. This one is, like, straight. Like, 1 is the first, 2 is the second, etc.
Yeah. I mean, I guess spoilers for God knows how old those games are at this point.
2002, 2003.
Oof. But, like, there was a bit of 3, like, splashing there towards the end. It's like Virgil going back to Makai to potentially be recaptured by Mundus.
Yeah, that's, I was going to bring that up when we got there. Well, we'll get to the, like, story beats in a sec. But we do have a handful of new characters we brought in. The new big bad of this one was Argosax the Chaos, who is the final boss of Devil May Cry 2. And I just think his name is funny because the only thing I can think of when I hear that is, like, the Greek ship, the Argo.
Argo with a saxophone.
Right. I just see, like, especially since, I love, like, Fate Grand Order, I see all the members of the Argo, like the Argonauts just over there doing the...
Cue the...
Yeah, just that over and over again, but it's like you got Heracles from Fate Stay Night over there. Argo sax, and that's what my brain immediately thinks of, just the whole Argo crew having a jazz session.
Having not beaten the second part of 2, or the second part of 2.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name suddenly.
She is one of her shorthand names.
Yeah. Having not beat her route, and that's the only bit of Devil May Cry I have not played other than...
Peak of Combat. Peak of Combat, you ever played that one? I think it's a mobile game. Oh, you played that one too. Okay.
I've played a lot of Devil May Cry.
Indeed. I need to catch up on that. But yeah, so Argosax was the main antagonist, and Chi was also in this season, and she was also an antagonist, but I'm wondering, she's a playable character in Devil May Cry 2, so does that mean she is on Argosax's side in the game? Because
I wouldn't know.
I started my second playthrough of 2 independently because I do want us to stream that route before we go to Devil May Cry 3 eventually. But our stream schedule's all out of whack.
Yep. But I was gonna say this rendition of Argosax, compared to what we saw in 2, I think was way cooler.
Considering, again, it's been a long time, but I have watched all the way through our Let's Play from back in the day at least once after playing it. I remember nothing about Argosax lore-wise.
Yeah.
The way I remember Devil May Cry 2 ending was just, this big threat that's apparently bigger than Mundus. Dante kills it and then rides off into the underworld on his motorcycle, and then apparently Devil May Cry 4 happens after that. That's all I remember, as far as this character specifically is concerned. We did see some other things I remembered as I was watching the show. I remember them from the games, like, I can't pronounce it. Trismegistus?
Trismagia.
The mirror boss with the split face. It splits into 3 faces, and that makes an appearance, and that was one of the bosses from the game. I don't remember too much about it. I kept expecting to get jump scared by Phantom the Lava Spider, because, like, that thing still haunts me. Like, not just from how hard it was to kill in the first game, but it comes back in the second game just out of nowhere.
Yep.
And I was just like, why? Okay. Do you got anything before we actually move on to talk about the story?
Not particularly.
Well, it picks up pretty much exactly where Season 1 left off. American Idiot blasting in the background. They didn't actually play that this season. Small disappointment. I didn't think that the opening theme song for this season was as fun as Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, that was a bit of a.
To be fair, this season was a lot more somber though. It was a lot less fun, or a lot less fun energy is what I mean.
Yeah. I would say there's a bit to be said about it though. It was way shorter, so it allowed for more actual episode in the episode.
True. Shorter title sequence, but one thing that's kind of funny is the cold open for every episode.
It was almost as long as the episode.
Right. It's like you had some of the cold opens, which that means you get a bit of episode before we get onto the episode proper, before the title sequence plays. Some of them were like 10 minutes long, but then others were like, 4, 5, 6 minutes long. And I remember we're sitting there looking at it, and the episode's been playing for 10 minutes. Then it plays the title sequence. We're like, oh, that whole thing was the cold open?
It was like, we haven't gotten here yet?
But yeah, it picks up where last season left off, where America is invading Makai. Dante is in cryo sleep because Lady shot him in the back while he wasn't paying attention. It was very apparent last season that the whole war on hell was just an allegory for the war on terror from the early 2000s. They got really ham-fisted with it this time. This ain't just ham-fist, this is ham with an extra side of bacon ham-fisted. Because the whole, especially with Arias, was that his name? Mm-hmm. The billionaire guy who was fronting the whole operation?
Yep.
We're bringing freedom to Makai. And I'm like, we joke, it's clear, I haven't seen it, but I assume that people got that joke from Team America, mm-hmm. that movie, where the song "America, fuck yeah" is from.
Yep.
We're bringing freedom to it, like that. That's what I imagine they got the expression from, or it could be Metal Gear Rising, hot wind blowing. Who knows?
I will say,
I'm illiterate.
The soldiers were doing a lot better than I expected them to be doing in that opening.
You're fighting literal hellspawn, though.
Yeah.
So.
Still did not end well for them.
No,
they were doing way better than I would have given them credit for.
Yeah. So, Lady snuck in, stole an artifact.
The Holy Grail.
Pretty much. I forgot what the name of it was. It was a chalice that's part of it's
the Arcana.
One of the 4 Arcana, but it's a chalice and it had a proper name. I don't remember what it was. They described it as, we need these 4 Arcana to create a super weapon to one-shot Mundus. Whenever we have all 4 of them assembled, and that will end the war on hell, is the way they're spinning things.
Not completely lying.
True.
If the plan had gone to...
If the plan had gone to plan, then it probably would have worked. But Lady broke in, it was stored in Mundus' throne, which I guess that makes a lot of sense, as to if you have a super powerful weapon, keep it right under your nose. Mm-hmm. Broke in, stole it, while Mundus was called to the battlefield himself to deal with the human invaders. She took it back to Earth, and they started putting in motion their plan to lead another strike against Makai. But then, when Mundus realizes, oh, the Arcana has been stolen. Okay, Virgil, I'm going to send you to the human world. Go get him. And then when Virgil goes on a killing spree, they're like, okay, we might need Dante for this one.
They really thought they could handle that man. They've already seen what Dante could do, and they didn't think that it would be a problem for one that had been trained by the demons.
Virgil is literally the embodiment of the stereotype unsheathed sword, but then puts it back before you see the sword slash and everything falls apart. By the way, the end credit sequence from the first season, where you see him just slaughtering all the soldiers in the base and letting all the Makaians free, that actually took place in present day during this. It wasn't just a flashback, or it was a flash forward from last season. We get to see that in real time. So they found Dante out, they dropped the bomb on him. Yeah, Virgil's alive, he's working for the enemy, that kind of stuff.
They really never touched on the super demon killer serum again.
I mean, after it proved ineffective, or actually...
It never really made contact.
Never got the chance to, but we'll get there in a sec. Dante gets Ebony and Ivory, and they do explain that it was custom made for his strength level, so he won't break him like he broke his other guns. Which I think that's fun. I think it's cool to see his actual iconic weapons for once.
Yeah.
Did Rebellion look different than it did first season, or am I just misremembering because I haven't watched first season since last year?
No, I think it looked the same.
Okay, yeah. It looks different in Devil May Cry 2, the game, though, doesn't it? Doesn't it You didn't even get Rebellion in the first game. You got Force Edge and Alistair.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I'm a scrub when it comes to Devil May Cry lore and all that.
Hey, you remember DMC 1?
Indeed.
So, hey,
Well, I played that a couple months back, so it's still a little
fair
fresh.
enough.
So Dante and Virgil square off, and that was one of the big promo things that they did when, promoting the season. We get to see them fighting outside the Washington Monument, and it's raining outside. I remember you saying, "Please let them do the rain bubble thing." They didn't.
They didn't. I was so sad.
But you have a sniper who was camping out on the sides, waiting, trying to get a shot at Virgil, and he never got his opportunity to. And then shortly after, Virgil beats Dante, doesn't kill him, but buries him under a lot of rubble. It's always the Lincoln Memorial in fiction. You ever notice that?
It really is.
I mean, Transformers in Mega Man, they fight outside Lincoln. Ruby Spears Mega Man, they fight outside Lincoln Memorial. Devil May Cry. It's always the Lincoln Memorial.
Planet of the Apes.
That too. He collapses the building on top of Dante, burying him temporarily, because he didn't bury the light yet. But I'll leave.
Goodbye.
So
There's the door.
yeah, it's right there off screen. Virgil goes to Darkholm headquarters, and he is going after Arius, who is the guy, again, behind the whole operation. He's not the vice president guy, Baines, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
The guy I called Wesker last time. Baines is spearheading the operation, but Arius is, funding the whole thing. And Chi is working for him.
All I could think of with Baines was Frollo.
Yes.
Just what Frollo wishes he could have done.
Right, if Frollo's in the modern universe.
Yep.
So Virgil makes it to Darkholm headquarters, and he was led there because it turns out that Arius was using an Ouroboros as his symbol. And the demons who attacked Dante and Virgil's family were branded with the Ouroboros because it is the symbol of Argosax.
Mm-hmm. So
he's like, either even if this connection isn't legitimate,
sucks for you.
sucks for you. So he goes to confront Arius, and Arius suddenly absorbs the Arcana chalice and pulls out a demon sword. Was it the demon sword Sparta? Or
Yeah, it was Sparta.
He pulls Sparta on him, and they fight. Virgil almost gets beat because Arius has super hacks. Then Dante shows up to help, and then we learn that Arius is actually the upcoming vessel for Argosax's resurrection, because Argosax met him, centuries ago.
Yeah, ages ago.
And he granted him the power of reincarnation in order to fulfill the goal of collecting all 4 Arcana to resurrect Argosax.
He really liked mentioning it was 28 lifetimes.
Specifically the number 28. 600 and some number of years. I forgot the exact number. But over 600 years. And we see him go through various eras. We see him going through different locations. So bro's gotten around in terms of when he respawns, and he would spend his entire new life every time, building his collective experience and hunting down the Arcana to resurrect Argosax, and one of which was the Staff of Hermes. I forgot what they actually called it, but it takes the symbol of the Staff of Hermes.
Yeah, it looked like Caduceus.
Yeah, and it. I remember in Devil May Cry 1, that's an item you need to get to open up the gate to the underworld. There was that. There was a demon weapon. I don't think Sparta was one of the Arcana, but there was another demon sword that was in the list, wasn't there?
Yeah. Well, they were based off the 4 minor Arcana. Wands, cups, coins, and swords.
Oh. What is that from?
Tarot cards.
Oh, okay.
Instead of being the world or
right.
the chariot, you have, which are all the major Arcana, you have the minor Arcana, which are those 4.
Oh, first time, I didn't know about this. Okay, well, the more you know. There was also a coin, which I don't know its major significance.
Called the Medaglia.
Yeah, the Medaglia, yeah.
It's a fun word.
When they find out what's going on, before they find out that Argosax is coming back, they still think that the plan is to open the gate to attack Mundus directly. But even if Dante is okay with taking on Mundus because he's still under the impression that Mundus killed his family, he's like, I don't want that barrier open ever, because last time the White Rabbit did that, literally all hell broke loose. So I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna stop this from happening. So Dante pulls a switcheroo with a coin he got from. It was a cave where there's a bunch of offerings made to Argosax. It was just like a little.
Yeah, just a
little coin just found in a treasure chest, and I was like, I saw him pick it up and put it in his pocket. I was like, this is gonna be some Pirates of the Caribbean. That coin was cursed the whole time.
I really wanted that to end up being his double-sided coin.
Right. I remember you mentioning that while we're watching
Coins
it.
are double-sided with the same side.
Yeah.
Same face on each side.
I remember you mentioning that while we're watching it, and then it turns out he pulled a switcheroo and swapped it for the Medaglia when we didn't see it the first time, but then they did that thing where they run the footage back and we see him actually do it. Dante gets Virgil opens up a portal with Yamato and is like, "You and Lady are just in my way. I'll handle this myself." Kicks him through the portal, puts him out in the middle of nowhere, and they almost get run over by a truck driver. And then Virgil, they played My Immortal during that scene. Oh, I forgot to mention this earlier. The absolute fantastic music cue when Virgil first gets to the human world and he's surrounded by soldiers, you just hear, "Let the bodies."
Yes.
And I'm like, we're so back in the early 2000s, like the game music videos over here. I actually found someone did make an early Devil May Cry mashup video with Rolling by Limp Bizkit, and after it got announced that was going to be the theme song for season 1, the entire comment section was flooded. They're like, years ago they called him a madman. things like that. But yeah,
Heck yeah.
the music cues were simultaneously fun, but also sometimes a little bit too cheesy.
Yeah, on the nose.
A little too on the nose. Like, I think it more so has to do with the fact that the sound mixing wasn't as good this season, because sometimes the music would drown out the dialogue.
Yeah,
I counted more
on that a couple of times.
Maybe it was the speaker on the TVs we were watching it on. I don't know, but there was a couple of times when I can't hear what the characters are saying because the vocals are too loud, and I'm like, just turn down the music just like 2 steps. So it broke the immersion a little bit because it really felt like someone just took the scene and just slapped the music on there in an editor, like making a half-baked AMV with it. Again, fitting when Virgil's over here like playing slap chop with everybody, but yeah. So they do play My Immortal when Dante and Lady are out in the middle of the desert. She's like, "Yeah, we lost because we're no longer in the base. They got the Arcana." That's when Dante's like, "Oh, but I got the Medaglia. I pulled switcheroo." And Lady kisses him, and then they are hinting that, or they are playing into that there was going to be some kind of Dante Lady ship, which they didn't really do in the games, did they?
Not really.
Yeah, nothing I've ever seen or read states that they have any kind of relationship. Even the 2007 Devil May Cry anime, which was really Lady just knocking on his door every day. "Where's the money, Lebowski?"
Yeah, no. As far as I can remember in the games, the closest they have for anything romantic for Dante is Trish.
Which they don't really explore that either.
They don't really explore that either.
Yeah.
The only one who gets a canon love interest is... I lost his name. Nero?
Virgil's son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one who gets a canon love interest is Nero. Him and Kyria.
On that note, I think it's kind of it's a little jarring to me. Again, even though I haven't played the games, I've watched some of the cutscenes, I've seen the memes, of course. Nero is voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, and Johnny Young Bosch also voices Dante in this anime, or in this TV show. And I'm like, it's weird, man. It's just hearing those two voices, and I'm like, I'm used to hearing a Devil May Cry, but not as this.
It's a family resemblance, it's fine.
That's why I've got to chalk it up to. Nero does manage to get one of Arius' arms chopped off, and then Arius is like, "Hey, Uber hacks, I'm just going to teleport you to the Shadow Realm." And he ends up in the mirror dimension with
Trismagia?
Trismagia. I still can't pronounce that. So while that's happening, Dante goes to meet an old wizard that he met a long time ago on another job, voiced by Keith David, and I can't remember the character's name at the moment.
Nope.
His granddaughter's name, Matilda, though, goes by Maddie, and then we get a sequence where Dante is like, "Hey, you know about demon magic. Can you destroy this? He's like, gonna need 8 hours, but, sure. So then we get a little...
That's a death flag.
Yeah. Get a little montage of Maddie playing with Dante and Lady while Skater Boy plays in the background. It was kind of cute. But then, predictably, at the time when the ritual is almost complete to destroy the Medaglia, that's when the bad guys find where they are. He's that close to doing it, and it's the whole thing of, yeah, we got your granddaughter, surrender the Medaglia or she dies. And I'm like, bro, hold off for 5 more seconds and you got it. Fate of the world at stake here.
Nope. Can't blame him though.
I mean, I've never been in this situation. I don't really think I can either. What I can
I'd fold instantly.
What I can blame him for is not watching his back and immediately getting bopped the second he lets his guard down. I'm like, bro, you are all powerful like demon magician, and you're voiced by Keith David. You're gonna die like that? Come on, bro. Keith David deserves better, man.
Not gonna be in season 3.
So Arius gets to the Medaglia. He is back with a robot arm now, by the way. He just has
the money for that.
Had the money for robot arm.
I had it ready to go too.
Yep, it's like he applied for it. He is getting set up to summon Argosax. Then Lady has a conversation with Vice President Baines, or acting president actually, because the actual president in the show accidentally got killed off when one of his guards had a freak out moment and bullets were all over the place. It's one of those things up to where I am really interested in Baines' actual backstory. Because one thing we learn is that the president guy, the obvious George Bush stand-in, dresses like a cowboy, he's from Texas, obviously, because the whole War on Terror thing, it's clear, not even subtle allegory.
Yeah. We know who they're pointing at.
His whole thing of, we're doing God's work, we're fighting hell, it was all front for him. For the actual president guy, it was a front the entire time. And the reason that the Darkholm soldier had a freak out was because he was secretly making a deal with Mundus behind his back, trying to get him to back off. He's like, was making a deal with Virgil to talk to Mundus, whatever. But he dies, and then so Baines, Wesker guy, is the acting president. But even down to the point to where Argosax kills him, he is still saying things like, God will protect me. He's trying to call on God's power. And I'm like, so he actually was legitimate in his conviction. I want to know his backstory. I want to know more about him. It wasn't a front for him. He actually did believe he was doing God's work, which I find that admirable, but he's incredibly misguided and misusing his faith. I'll absolutely be the first to call him out on that.
Also, on terms of faith stuff, I thought it was a cool twist. I don't remember if they actually touched on this in DMC2 with Argosax, but it being humanity's initial thoughts of hell were shaped by Argosax's underworld.
Yeah. They mentioned that in season 2 of the show. I don't remember if they mentioned that in the game either, because again, it's been a while. But I'm playing through it on my own in my downtime. I'll let you know when I get there.
I may just do a crash run through all 5 of them again. I'm not gonna lie.
There you go. So Argosax achieves his true form with Arius as his core, and very big Digimon Data Squad Karada Belphamon moment. And I'm just like,
where's Marcus?
Get him up in here and just punch him in the face and end it. So
where's Marcus?
Nero was trapped in the Trismegistus world, and he's forced to confront the truth. It turns out that
Virgil.
Did I say Dante?
No, you said Nero.
Nero. I'm sorry. Virgil. Virgil's trapped in there.
All mixed up.
So Virgil was trapped in the mirror world, and he was forced to confront the truth, which was it was never Argosax's men who killed his family and kidnapped him and subjected him to all the torture before Mundus saved him. It was Mundus who purposefully branded his own soldiers with Argosax's emblem, literal branding, and he set Argosax's followers up to take the fall for him, so that way Virgil would be super devout and would never question things.
An effective plan.
Indeed. Which that actually was kind of a sucker punch to the audience, because they are trying to paint Mundus as not benevolent ruler of Makai, but reasonable at least. You could negotiate with him.
Yeah.
And it turns out, oh no, he was a usurper the whole time as well. But even like toward the end, Mundus is like, Makai needs to be united as demon kind. We are superior to the Sapiens. We can't just live in chaos with Makai's and Sapiens together, which is what Argosax had. Like back in his day, before the Sparta's barrier was up, both worlds were meshed, and it was just literal utter chaos the whole time. Is the way they painted it. So Virgil finds out the truth. Now he wants to go after Mundus. To get his revenge, obviously. So Argosax is too strong for Dante and Virgil to take because he is, again, god of chaos. And Dante's like, hey, Virgil, could Mundus take him?
Yes.
Okay. We got these vials of our blood. We are the sons of Sparta. Smash them onto the demon sword, open up the barrier temporarily, and push him through. But things didn't quite go according to Dante's plan because both of them got sucked in as well, along with the demon sword. So now Argosax and Mundus are over there throwing hands while they're trying to get to the sword to stop the barrier from falling completely, because if it goes down completely, they can't put it back up. So we get a cameo by Beowulf, but we don't get to see his demon arms being used. Mundus bodies Argosax, not effortlessly, but, still kind of one-sided.
Mundus didn't sweat much.
Nah, not too much. Broke a sword, but, it's... I did think one kind of cool moment for Arius, his human host, after he died, is like, 28 lifetimes to live a moment as a god. Fair trade. Fair trade. Dies. So Dante and Virgil both get to Sparta at the same time. Mundus tries to convince Virgil to come back to his side and all that. Gives this whole big long-winded thing, and he says the reason Sparta put up the barrier was because even in his betrayal, he was my most loyal, because he realized that I lost my way, and my conquest was just driven by madness, because when all you dream of is conquest and your entire life is warfare, you see enemies where they're not. That whole kind of deal. And I honestly thought he was just stalling so that the barrier would completely fall.
Yeah.
I thought that's what he was doing. But Virgil is like, he pulls a Tony Stark, I don't care, you killed my mom.
Unfortunately for you, you killed my mom.
After impaling Dante with the Yamato and sending him back to the other side, along with the...
amulet.
Yeah, both halves of the amulet, he takes base form, Demon Sword, Sparta, and Yamato, and he's like, alright, Mundus, you and me, square up, 1v1 right now. And that's where it cuts off on that side. We don't see where it goes from there. Dante ends up back in the human world.
Doing his best impression of Yamcha.
Crater boy. Lady is... Darkholm is now completely gone. So, my honest biggest complaints just had me rolling my eyes the first few episodes again with how ham-fisted the, for lack of a better word, political commentary was, because it's clearly lampooning early 2000s War on Terror. Probably not going to be in Season 3, considering that Darkholm is gone and all three of the major figureheads that were spearheading this are dead.
Yeah.
I think that next season actually could be Dante actually front and center for most of it, and it being him, taking up the fight on his own terms. Because now he's got personal stakes in it, because he's like, I know Virgil's alive, or when I last saw him. I have the amulet, I gotta find a way back into Makai so that way I can kick Virgil's butt for stabbing me, and kill Mundus for killing my parents.
I'd love to see the Dark Tower in the next season.
Is that for Devil May Cry 3?
Yeah, it's basically the setting of 3.
No, makes sense, because kind of like how Devil May Cry 1 took place in that one single castle for most of it, yeah.
Yeah, DMC 3, Arkham,
Yeah.
the Jester guy, has basically summoned a giant tower to bring hell to Earth.
Oh, it's Final Fantasy 2 all over again.
Pretty much.
Yeah, on that subject, yeah, Arkham, Jester guy, turns out he was a double agent. He makes an appearance this season. We did see a bit of that in flashbacks in Season 1, when we got Lady's backstory, and we get it fully confirmed this time. That is what became of him. One thing that Baines had said is that they had a double agent on the inside, And it was pretty clear at the very start, because the only reason Mundus left his chair to go fight in the first place, like I mentioned earlier, was so that Lady could get his Arcana, was because when the humans were putting up the fight in the first episode, Arkham says to one of the royal guards, hey, Mundus could wipe all these guys out in like one fell swoop, right? Why waste our soldiers when you could just have the big boss just do it like that? So the guard's like,
why not use your strongest move first?
He's like, okay, I'll go ask him. And then Mundus is like, you're asking me to get out of this chair. First of all, light of judgment for you. You're vaporized. Okay, let's go do this. And then he gets out of his chair.
You gotta give him props. At least he did see the logic.
Right. So I want to make a comparison to that one clip from Fate Zero, but actually what I'm getting here is, which Shin Megami Tensei game was that, Steven?
Oh, SMT4 when you fight Steven?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. SMT4 Apocalypse.
He stands up.
Wait. wait.
If you play the game, you get it. Or if you had someone explain it to you, you get it. But, so he was the double agent the whole time, and then, I keep wanting to call her Mary, because that is her real name, but, later on as the series goes, Lady says that she doesn't want to be called Mary Arkham anymore because of what her father did. She just wants to cast that identity away. She wants to be her own person now. And she just says that she's just going to go by Lady from then on. We do get this one moment where she finds an old busted laptop and opens it up, looks at some security footage of her dad turning into the Jester form for the first time. He looks at the camera and he's like, hello, Mary, coming to see dear old dad. And I'm looking at that like, is that in real time? Is he breaking the fourth wall in universe? Does he know?
Maybe he just has that power.
Does he know, or was it pre-recorded and he knew that she would find it? Usually when you get demon jesters, it is a little bit ambiguous because those kind of characters do typically have fourth wall breaks because it's funny. So he's got to be a major player next season, I imagine.
Definitely.
That was Lady's ending goal right there. She's going off to kill him. The same woman who made Ebony and Ivory, we see Lady visit her at the very end and pick up a big case, which I assume has a rocket launcher with a giant bayonet.
It is 100% the Kalina Ann.
Which, I think it's funny that Casey Edwards, is that his name? The guy who did Bury the Light?
Yeah, I think so.
He actually did a song for this season of Devil May Cry as well, and it's called Bazooka. It's Lady's new theme. And I'm like, but she didn't use a bazooka this season, did she? Not that I remember.
No.
I remember there was a bazooka used a couple of times, but Lady wasn't the one to use it. But the theme song works for her because her weapon of choice in-game is a rocket launcher.
Yep.
So it'll be relevant next season, I'm sure. I am hoping that, like, while I am okay with the more calm version of Bury the Light that we had for the show, I really hope that when Virgil actually rises to power, if we do take that route, we actually get to hear, like, a more faithful recreation of the game version or a new rendition of that one to like be the actual boss theme for him. I would actually love to see that.
Do you think that we might? Well, you don't know anything about 5.
Not a lot, no.
Dang it.
I mean, I know some of the memes. I know who V is. I know V's connection to everything. And, of course, I know who Virgil is, I know who Nero is, but as far as 5's actual story goes, outside of just Dante and Virgil constantly at each other's throats, not really.
Yeah. I was going to say it'd be kind of cool if, he's not the final boss, but the guy that they're fighting for the majority of 5.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if he makes an appearance in the next season. I can't think of his name to save my life now.
I couldn't tell you, sorry.
I have to play the games again.
There you go. Well, that's pretty much the entire story recap. So all in all, I've already been over my major criticisms of the show. Again, Dante really got sidelined in this one, but given the setup of the story we have now, I'm really hoping that Dante will be more front and center in the next season, because he already did kind of explore all of his, like, important backstory beats. Virgil, I feel like, for good writing, they need to keep it a mystery, at least for 2 or 3 episodes, whether or not he beat Mundus.
Yeah.
Like, they need to actually keep us in the dark on that until Dante does find a way to get back to Makai, or if some demons cross over and we can find out one way or another. We know they're going to have to go back because Lady is on the hunt for Arkham. And I'm wondering whether or not Trish is going to show up.
I kind of doubt it. I don't really see.
Like, the impact she would have had has kind of fizzled out at this point.
Yeah.
Because, like, the entire point of her being designed the way she was is that she's the spitting image of Dante and Virgil's mom. And they did kind of already squash the whole, mother murder part of their story arc. So, this is made by the same guy who did the Castlevania series. And they did Castlevania 3's whole storyline without including Grant at all. So maybe they're just not going to have Trish, or she'll come in a different way.
I could see her coming in a different way, but I really hope it's not just like a shoehorned love triangle.
Right? And the other thing was that, I didn't think about this till just now, Ebony and Ivory, the way that Dante got demon bullets in the first game was that Trish gave Dante her powers to use during the final fight with Mundus. And then Virgil's the one who taught him how to do that. He's like, hey, channel your demonic power into the gun and you can shoot magic bullets. I'm like, well, that could account for why I never has to reload after this. But if that is the sum total of Trish's contribution, or at least for the first game, because again, I haven't played the others, but for her introduction game, that is the majority of her contribution, for what I recall. There's not really much else for her to do.
Not really.
At least not with the direction they've been taking the series. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I wouldn't be surprised if she just doesn't appear.
Yeah. Speaking of the ranged attack options, I don't think we saw enough of Virgil's light blades.
I think we saw it once, maybe twice. Only time I can think of was he goes to the human world, they have cloaking, and they all grappling cable him from long distance. And he's just gonna throw one at you just to get the sniper off my back. Okay, let the bodies hit the floor. It was during that scene.
I always particularly enjoyed just
long range throw swords. Thought the action sequences were just as good as last season.
Definitely. I would say some of them were probably better.
Oh, absolutely. I do think the two kaiju-sized demons throwing hands was absolutely a riot.
I'm a sucker for a kaiju fight.
We haven't quite gotten DMC5 accurate Virgil yet. But again, need more Dante. That's just the bottom line I'm getting here.
I will say the other thing that kind of tripped me out during the kaiju fight though is Dante and Virgil just picked the worst directions to run away from the fight at all points in time.
Just so happens that every single time they change direction, there's a shockwave coming their way.
Yeah.
The earth is rising up around them.
Yeah, or 3 scene shifts later and somehow they're between them. How did that happen?
I mean, to be fair, when you're the size of an ant and you got two giants fighting around you,
yeah,
they move pretty quick. That's basically after just first watch. My critique is basically just more Dante. That's where I'm at right now, and I hope that's what they give us next season. And my other major complaints already been dealt with because again, the War on Terror allegory is over, or should be, from a narrative standpoint. So I enjoyed it and ready for season 3 because season 3 has already been confirmed.
The one thing I want even more than just the Dark Tower thing though, I want to see more weapons with Dante.
Yes, because so far
Specifically, I want to see Nevin.
Which one's Nevin?
The electric guitar.
Yes, absolutely.
I need that in my life.
Yes.
And if at all possible, maybe a reference to the SMT style devil triggers from 3.
How so?
So, this is a bit of a ramble on my part. To get Dante into SMT3 Nocturne, they did a little bit of an exchange. And the devil trigger forms that you see for the various weapons in DMC3 are designed by the same designers who did the Atma demons for Digital Devil Saga.
Is that why Dante, doesn't Dante look different in Devil Trigger depending on what weapon he's using? Yep. And that's something that's only in 3, right?
I don't think so. I think he kind of does a little bit different in 1 as well. I
know he has at least 2 different forms in 1 because you have your pre-final boss Devil Trigger, and then you have the whole flying sequence where you're chasing Mundus, where he's got wings and all that, so he looks different in that form. I don't think either of those are the Sin Devil trigger. I think that's something he gets just way later.
Yeah. Sin Devil trigger's in 5.
Yes.
Spoilers, I guess.
I did know that part. Yeah.
But yeah. But just any kind of just wink, wink, nudge, nudge, nod towards the SMT involvement in Devil May Cry would be really cool.
Yeah. And yeah, it's like since we did get a pretty big time skip from end of last season to this season, is like what, a month or two maybe?
I think so.
So maybe Dante could be out there now that he knows how to access his Devil Trigger form due to everything he went through this season. Maybe he could be holding his powers and like getting more creative with his weapons, because now he's not just limited to just guns and swords. He's like, hey, what if I pick a rocket launcher, or what if I can channel my demonic energy into my bullets? What if I literally do that with an electric guitar and that becomes a devil arm?
Yeah.
Have we seen any actual devil arms besides the swords done yet?
I don't believe so.
Because again, we didn't get Beowulf yet. He's possibly still alive because he didn't fall to pieces, but we did just see just a bunch of... He got eviscerated badly, so maybe he's still alive. Don't know why Virgil would spare him, because like we saw, he and Virgil had beef earlier in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, ready for Season 3, and again, just hopefully there's more Dante in Season 3. That's just my biggest complaint at the moment.
So I guess biggest wish is more Dante, devil arms.
Yeah, and just... I'm interested to see who the big bad is going to be. Is it going to be Mundus again? Or is it actually going to be Virgil? We're going to get Devil May Cry 5 sooner. No, we can't because Nero's not around yet. There hasn't been enough of a time skip for that.
Yeah, no, that would need a real big time skip, actually.
Yeah, because Bro's at like his 20s in Devil May Cry 5, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Same here.
Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Peace.